Tech, Cyber Forensics and Information Security secured first rank with CGPA of 9.30 and bagged SIT Gold Medal. And also Mr. K. Vijay Kumar, Admin Assistant in Steno Cash Award for securing first rank. Next, Miss Lakshmi Yajamani of BE Civil Engineering secured Srimati Pradeepa Chandrabasavaya Gold Medal, a girl student securing highest CGPA in Civil Engineering and securing highest marks in subject reinforced concretes and structures. She has bagged Srimati Dakshanamma and Professor B. Gangadharaya Gold Medal and also secured Sri G.S. Paramashivaya Gold Medal instituted by Sri G.S.S. Murthy for securing highest marks in water resources subject. Next, Mr. Samyak Jain of BE Mechanical Engineering secured Dr. M.N. Channabasappa Gold Medal for securing highest marks in mathematics from first to fourth semester among all the undergraduate programs with a CGPA of 9.29. Next, Miss Tasin, BE Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering secured Srimati Lakshmi Narasamma and Sri Anjaneya Shetty Memorial Gold Medal instituted by Professor G.A. Shashikumar for securing second highest CGPA in Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering. She got a CGPA of 9.15. Next, Mr. Sudhin Singhal, BE Computer Science and Engineering, bagged Sri B. Shivanna and Srimati Nagaratnamma Gold Medal instituted by Dr. B. S. Shashikala for securing highest marks in third semester mathematics with a CGPA of 9.33. Next, Mr. Lokesh J. of BE Electronics and Communication bagged D. Basuraju Gold Medal instituted by Dr. K. Shubasappa, former head Department of Chemical Engineering, for securing second highest CGPA among all the students of all branches of engineering excluding first rank with a CGPA of 9.53, and also he has bagged alumni of SIT ENC 1984 Cash Award. Next, Bindu C. of BE Telecommunication Engineering secured second highest CGPA in Telecommunication Engineering with a CGPA of 9.12 and bagged Dr. Krishna Prabhu Gold Medal. Next, Miss Shalu Mishra. Miss Shalu Mishra of Bachelor of Architecture secured Rotary Tumkur Gold Medal for being the topper in architecture design project, and she has got a CGPA of 8.65. Next, Miss Nivedita, Master of Business Administration, secured first rank in HR stream with a CGPA of 8.60 and bagged Dr. Manu N. Kulkarni Cash Award. Next, Miss R. Pratibha, Master of Business Administration, secured Mr. K. N. Vijay Kumar, Admin Assistant in Steno Cash Award for being topper in the subject Advanced Corporate Finance with a CGPA of 8.71. branch with CGPA, highest CGPA of 8.89, bagged alumni of SIT ENC 1984 batch cash award. Miss Srivarsha DS, Biotechnology, BE in Biotechnology, secured BL Siddhappa and Srimati Girvanamma gold medal instituted by Dr. B.S. Gauri Shankar for being the topper in the class with a CGPA of 9.15. Mr. Rudresha SL, MTech Structural Engineering, secured first rank with a CGPA of 9.26 and bagged SIT gold medal. Mr. Sadashiv Bhubanale of MTech Thermal Power Engineering, secured first rank with a CGPA of 9.52 and bagged SIT gold medal and Tumkur Nanjappa Memorial gold medal instituted by Dr. N. Chandrasekhar. Next, Mr. Rahul Raju Batakande, MTech Transportation Engineering and Management, secured first rank with a CGPA of 9.21 and bagged SIT gold medal. MTech Power Electronics, secured first rank with a CGPA of 9.23 and bagged SIT gold medal. Next, Mr. Shivashankara, MTech VLSI Design and Embedded Systems, secured first rank with a CGPA of 9.52 and bagged SIT gold medal. Next, Miss Shweta Kaulagi, MTech Digital Communication Engineering, secured second highest CGPA excluding first rank among all the PG students of all branches with a CGPA of 9.46 and bagged D. Basuraju gold medal instituted by Dr. K. M. Shubasappa, former HOD Department of Chemical Engineering. Now the topper of the institute, Dr. Sri Sri Shivkumara Swamiji, Miss Namita N. Bharadwaj. Miss Namita N. Bharadwaj, she has secured highest CGPA among all the students of all branches of undergraduate program in engineering. And she bagged Sri Sri Shivkumara Swamiji gold medal.
request our Honorable Director, Dr. M.N. Channabasappa, to administer the oath to the graduating students. I request all the graduating students to kindly stand up.
Friends, this is graduation ceremony oath. Upanishads are receptacles of ancient Indian wisdom. The valuable knowledge created by those rishis and munis is meant to benefit the mankind. Taittiriya Upanishad contains very interesting and useful advice from the Guru to the Sishya at the time of leaving the Gurukula after completion of his education. The advice is in the form of simple sentences addressed to the student. In this program of oath taking, we will follow an interesting format. I play two roles, the role of the Guru and the role of the Sishya. When I read out a sentence, let the Guru in you pronounce that sentence addressed to the Sishya in you, and let the Sishya listen with complete attention and respect. The text is supplied to you in Devanagari and Kannada scripts. Let us begin. When I read out, let your pronouncements be clear and audible. Satyam Vada, speak the truth. Dharmam Chara, live righteously. Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. Do not stop self-learning and scholarly discourses. Matrudevo bhava, love your mother as God. Pitrudevo bhava, adore your father as God. Acharya Devo Bhava, respect your teacher as God. Atithi Devo Bhava, honor your guest as God. Prajatantum ma vyavachetsi, do not cut the human chain of God's creation. Yat kinchit deyam tat shraddhaya deyam. If you have something to give, give with faith. Ashraddhaya nadeyam, give not without faith. Shriya deyam, give with grace. Hriyadeyam, give with humility. Samvidadeyam, give with understanding. Yesha adeshaha, yesha upadeshaha. This is command and this is instruction. Dear friends, you have become graduates today. On this particular occasion, I would just request you that you are now free to turn your tassel from left to right. May I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request all the graduating students to kindly be seated. May I request the respected principal, Dr. Shivkumaraya, to introduce the chief guest of this function, Professor Ram Gopal Rao, and invite him for the graduation ceremony address.
I am very happy to introduce our respected chief guest, Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao, Director, IIT Delhi. Professor Ram Gopal Rao hails from Kolhapur, a small town in Mahbub Nagar district, Telangana state. He studied in Telugu medium until his 12th standard in government schools in Kolhapur. He did his BTech from Kakatiya Institute of Technology and Science in the year 1986, did his MTech from IIT Bombay in 1991, did his PhD from University of Bundeshwar, Munich, Germany in 1997, did his postdoctoral research from the University of California, Los Angeles, USA in 1997-98. Professor V. Ramagopal Rao is currently the director IIT Delhi. Before joining IIT Delhi as the director in April 2016, Dr. Rao served as P.K. Kelkar Chair Professor for Nanotechnology in the Department of Electrical Engineering and as the Chief Investigator for the Center of Excellence in Nanoelectronics project at IIT Bombay. Dr. Rao has over 450 research publications in the area of nanoscale devices and nanoelectronics and is an inventor on 43 patents and patent applications, which include 15 issued US patents. 11 of his patents have been licensed to industries for commercialization. Professor Rao is a co-founder of 2 deep technology startups at IIT Bombay, NanoSniff and Soil Sense, which are developing products of relevance to the society. Dr. Rao is a fellow of IEEE, a fellow of the Indian National Academy of Engineering, the fellow of Indian Academy of Sciences, the fellow of National Academy of Sciences, and the fellow of Indian National Science Academy. Professor Rao's work is recognized with many awards and honors in the country and abroad. He is a recipient of the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize in Engineering Sciences in 2005 and the Infosys Prize in 2013. Dr. Rao also received Swarna Jayanti Fellowship Award from the Department of Science and Technology, IBM Faculty Award, Best Research Award from the Intel Asia Academic Forum, Techno Mentor Award from the Indian Semiconductor Association, DAE SRC Outstanding Research Investigator Award, NASI Reliance Platinum Jubilee Award, JC Bose National Fellowship, Professor CNR Rao National Nanoscience Award, WASPIC Award and the Excellence in Research Award from IIT Bombay. Professor Rao was an editor for the IEEE Transactions on Electron Devices during 2003 to 2012 for the CMOS devices and technology area and currently serves on the editorial boards of other journals. He is a distinguished lecturer, IEEE Electron Devices Society and interacts closely with many semiconductor industries both in India and abroad. Dr. Rao has served as the chairman of IEEE APED Bombay chapter and as a vice chairman IEEE Asia Pacific Regions and chapter subcommittee for 2 terms. He was the first elected chairman for the Indian section American Nano Society during 2013-15. This is a very brief biodata of Professor Rao. Always great man, biodata is very short. May I request respected Professor V. Ramagopal Rao to deliver the graduation ceremonial address.
Yeah. So, good afternoon, and His Holiness Sri Siddhalinga Swamiji, President of Sri Siddhaganga Education Society, Professor K. Siddhappa, Chairman of Governing Council of Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, Sri T. K. Nanju Dappa, Secretary Sri Siddhaganga Education Society, Dr. M. N. Chenna Basappa, Director of Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, Dr. Shivakumaraya, members of the members of the Governing Council, members of Academic Council, distinguished invitees, members of faculty and staff, dear students, parents, and all of you who are here today. I am very honored to be here at SIT, and I know that SIT is one of the finest engineering colleges in the country. I know that SIT is one of the top 100 institutions, and more than that, we have been hearing about SIT and all of this for a very long time. This is an institution created way back in 60s that way. So I think I'm very honored to be present here. And I should also share a secret with you. So in fact, I have some connections to SIT, and I have been educated in Warangal by one of your alumnus, Professor Venkatramaya. He is now with you here. He is teaching, and so my journey in engineering started, with an SIT alumnus introducing me to engineering. He was the best teacher we could find in that college, and I also started my life like all of you. And when I graduated, when I did my 12th standard in Telugu medium, I did not even know about IITs. The JEE examination were all in English, and I really had no option to even think of IITs at that time. So I went to a college like all of you did, and pursued my education subsequently. And I should also tell you that after my BTech, I actually wanted to become a teacher here in Tumkur. I came to Tumkur way back in 1986, and I even got an offer from Tumkur, but then because of various reasons, I joined somewhere else and pursued my career. So that way I can tell you that I do have many connections to SIT, and when I was invited for this convocation, I readily accepted, because I do know that SIT is one of the very few institutions in the country where maintaining very high moral values, ethics, and not combining the Lakshmi and Saraswati. I think this is one thing that we have as a problem in this country, and SIT has always stood up to its principles and and we all respect SIT more than many other institutions in the country. And I should also tell you that after my graduation, like all of you, I did not know what I needed to do. And for many of us, like you, education is for finding a job. I think we always equated education with a job. And after my BTech, I also started looking for jobs. In fact, I was hearing from all your gold medalists what sort of jobs they are doing and all of that. I think, my aspirations were also very similar, finding a good job and then get married, have children, and lead a happy kind of a life. So that's how, I started my journey in life. And but I should tell you, my life changed after I went to IIT Bombay, and that is something I advise some of you to actually pursue higher education if your social and economic backgrounds support you. When I graduated, I come from a very lower middle class kind of a background. I needed to do a job, and I worked for some time, but I knew that I needed to pursue higher education, because BTech was a very first degree, and I did not want to stop my career with just a BTech degree. So for me to pursue my higher education, I was also very clear that I must do my MTech from one of the good IITs. At that time, there were only how many? 7 IITs. So I knew that I would do my BMTech only from one of the top 5 IITs, and I chose IIT Bombay, and that changed my life forever. If I had not gone to IIT Bombay, I don't think I would have really done anything much with my life, and I would have, maybe, like anything else, I would have lived my life without anyone knowing about it. So I think I advise some of you to pursue higher education, and which I believe, can make a big difference, because once I went to IIT Bombay, I found some of the greatest teachers, and I found some of the best mentors, and more than anything else, I found people who challenged me. There were issues, there were problems which challenged me to realize my potential. That is where I could find my passion. I knew what I am good at. Until that time, I knew that I am good at cracking examinations. I knew that I can clear exams. I also have a few gold medals like some of you. But I knew that I was good at writing examinations. But Bombay is one place, the IIT Bombay, where I could find what I am good at. I realized that I have a knack for research. I realized that I can become a good researcher. So once I found my passion, I never had to look back. After that, lots of opportunities opened up, and I made my career in research, and I think I have done reasonably well by any standards. And I also, since we are all here, I have been in the higher educational system for more than 20 years now. So I would like to tell you, there are many things that are changing. Being the graduating students today, you may not actually realize what all has gone through a major kind of a reform in this country. And I would like to tell you what exactly are changing so that you are better prepared as the graduates of the current generation. One thing that is definitely changing is, our education system is too much focused on studying. And from that studying, you need to transform yourselves to learning. I think studying and learning, there is a lot of difference, and you need to be lifelong learners, and you need to continuously upgrade your skills. And as people say, education is something that remains after you have forgotten everything that has been taught in the classrooms. I think that is the education that will eventually help you with your career. That is the education that you aspire to learn, and that you can learn by various kind of ways. Now, one of the things that is also changing today is, we have always been producing job seekers. The whole ecosystem that exists is you get a degree and find a job and then lead a life. I think that is now changing very fast. You need to slowly start moving from the job seekers to job providers. I think that is where our educational system needs to undergo a change. We are not equipping our students well enough to become the job providers. We are equipping them well enough to become job seekers, and even that we are not doing very well in that respect. But that is what the academic institutions need to do, and that is where the job providers we need to produce out of the future generations. And I, as a director of IIT Delhi, in the last 2 years, we have done lots of things, lots of changes in our curriculum, in our way of inculcating those values in students, in our way of making students become job providers. And at least at IIT Delhi last year, 100 students said that we will not look for a job, we will start companies and see what we can do by starting these companies. I think that is a big change in the mindset that needs to happen. To make our students, for you to start companies, I think one of the things which is very important is the team building, the do-it-yourself kind of an attitude, and be able to work as a team. I think that is something that you need to inculcate. In Delhi, for example, we started, I call them 1, 2, 3, 4 discover and learn programs. What I said was, in every batch of students, there will be 4 students from 4 different years who work as a team. And then they will work on a problem which has a social kind of a relevance. Some of them are working on technologies for farmers, some of them are working on security related aspects, and some of them I have actually sent them to villages to spend time with the farmers, because unless you go to farmers, understand how farming is done in this generation, you will really not be able to provide any solutions to the farmers. And I call them the immersion programs. That is what our academic institutions need to do. We need to equip our students, we need to place our students during the BTech days or MTech days or during their days in the institution at places where there are real problems, so that they go, stay for a couple of months, learn what is happening, come back and start to look at solutions for those problems. I think these are what I call the immersion programs, and these are very important for our academic institutions to do. And this team, working in a team is very, very important. In fact, just a few days ago, I met with the head of a big company, and that company has lots of collaborations with Japan. In fact, there is a major Japanese collaboration with that company, between this company and the Japanese industries. And what that person told me was very interesting. He said that, sir, whenever I meet these Japanese colleagues, they say that one Indian engineer is better than 10 Japanese people. The output of one Indian engineer is better than 10 Japanese people. Yeah. But I think before you clap, you should hear the second part of the thing. So that's what he also said was, but then I also realized that 10 Indian engineers are less than one Japanese engineer. So that's the moment you put 10 people together, then everything starts to go wrong. And everybody starts to, question, why should he be the manager? Why can't I be the manager? Why should I listen to him? Why can't he take my instructions? Why am I not right? Why is that person right? That is where the problem comes. That is where we need to, inculcate in our children the ability to work as a team. In a team, it doesn't matter how good you are. All that matters is how good are you for the team. I think, that is a kind of a value system that we need to generate. And unless we are able to work as a team, I can tell you, you will never be able to accomplish anything big in life. Individually, what you can accomplish are very limited unless you form teams and start working on real problems. The second thing, that also needs to change in our academic institutions is the globalization. I think we need to start admitting more and more foreign students. We also need to admit more and more girl students. In IITs, as you know, starting from this year, we are looking for admitting more and more girl students. I think our institutions need to become 50-50 in terms of girls and boys kind of a ratio. We need to move to that kind of a model, and we need to also admit more and more foreign students into our institutions, because the world is becoming a small place. Now because of globalization and all of that, world already looks like a very small place, and whatever solutions we develop for people in India, you can also apply them elsewhere in so many other countries. There are at least 90 other countries with the GDP levels below India, with social and economic backgrounds very similar to India. If you develop a solution for Indian farmers, you can also apply them for the African farmers. But for you to understand the African societies, for you to have connections there, I think that is where you need to, we need to have our children become more global in their outlook. I think that is something which we are not doing enough. In all IITs now, and even in many colleges, I see the admission processes happening for the foreign students. I think I would also like to see Siddhaganga Institute maybe 10 years from now in a convocation like this. You should see lots of people from lots of nationalities. I think time has come for all of us to open our education and build soft power in all of these countries through admitting students from those countries. The third thing that is also changing is anywhere, anytime kind of a learning. Now learning, doesn't need to happen only in the classrooms. If you go to Google, search on any topic, you will find the world's best people giving lectures on that. Today, if I want to know about artificial intelligence, I don't have to go and do an MTech in artificial intelligence or anything like that. I just go to Google, I go to YouTube and listen to lots of lectures and be able to learn on my own what is artificial intelligence, and then acquire those skills and start to develop those skills further. I think this anytime, anywhere learning is something which is becoming very important, but that is again where I see while our students are more tuned to the anywhere, anytime kind of a learning, our teachers are not really becoming very well tuned. If you look at a teacher, the only technology that we have, that we have accepted in our teaching learning process is only the PowerPoint. Other than the PowerPoint, I don't think teachers have really started to look at any new way of instruction method. I think that is something that needs to change. I am aware of certain experiments being done in SIT in terms of teaching learning process, but I can tell you, on an average, not much has changed. That reminds me, a story that I read somewhere recently. One medical doctor and one teacher, they both went into a coma. And they came out of coma after 30 years, a teacher and then a professor and a medical doctor. They came back to life after 30 years. The medical doctor went to the hospital, went to the operation theater, found that everything has changed. Now the robots are doing the surgery. You find all kinds of instruments, all kind of those blinking LED lights. So a lot has changed in the operation theaters in the 30 years. He doesn't really know where to start. I mean, so he's completely confused where to start getting back to his profession. Our professor goes back to the classroom, takes the chalk and then starts giving a lecture. So because nothing has changed in 30 years, with a chalk and board you can continue to be a professor even after 30 years being in coma. I think that is something that has definitely happened, and that needs to change. I think our profession has also gone through lots of changes. We need to start looking at the flipped classroom kind of approaches. We need to look at using the technology more efficiently in our delivery process. I think unless we do that, we will always be cut off from the student community, and that's not going to help the students much. And also, if you look at the way this anytime, anywhere learning is happening, the world is also going through major changes. Who would have thought that Google will compete with Mercedes? Now, if you look at the autonomous kind of vehicle industry, the Google is going to be a major player in the autonomous vehicles now. And even 20 years ago, nobody could have imagined that a silicon giant will compete with a steel giant like Mercedes. I think that is the change in time. Who would have thought that Apple will start to compete the Apple kind of a computer company will compete with Rolex, which is a watchmaker. Now the Rolex and all these luxury watchmakers are having a problem because, many people are beginning to buy the Samsung watches and the Apple watches kind of a thing. And nobody could have predicted anything like that would ever happen, while being in an academic institute kind of a thing. Things are changing so fast now. The innovation is the key. If you want to start a company, all that you need is an idea. Once you have an idea, then you will build a team, and once your idea is good, once you have the right team, I can tell you there are so many opportunities today for you to get into entrepreneurship and start doing a variety of things. All that you need to start a company today is a mobile phone. Now at IIT Delhi, we see that there are at least 100 companies now, because students are starting companies from their hostel rooms and they are beginning to run companies from their hostel rooms. I think this is something which we would have never expected would ever happen in our academic institutions. This is one thing that has changed now, and we need to, that is good. And I believe that is what our educational system needs to encourage our children to do. And everybody just looking for a job is not going to take us anywhere and will not make much of a difference to the country. And also, this research is becoming very much integrated to our teaching institutions. Even IITs were all teaching institutions just 20 years ago. Now we take pride in our R&D kind of activities, and I think that in terms of research, three things are need to change. One is the industry connect. Our academic institutions need to connect better with the industries, and internationalization. We need to have more international partnerships with in our research activities. And the third thing is the interdisciplinary kind of a research. Now research that you can do with only your narrow understanding is not going to take us anywhere. All those problems that you can solve with only one specialization, those problems have already been solved. Now it is the future is all for interdisciplinary research. Electrical engineers working with the chemistry people, computer sciences working with the mechanical engineers. That is where the new problems are happening. That is where lots of new things are happening. I think that is something that needs to happen. Now, before I close, I just want to give you 3 advices which have helped my career very significantly. I hope they will also be the things that will help your career. Remain a lifelong student. I think that is becoming very, very important now. You have to keep on learning new things. Whatever you learn today, I can assure you within 5 years, it is going to be outdated. Today, even between siblings, the brothers and sisters, there is a generation gap. If within 5 years, so much changes in the technology that it doesn't take you much time to become outdated. So you need to be a lifelong learner. You need to continuously upgrade your skills. If you don't do that, I can tell you, you are going to have problems everywhere. Wherever, you are not creative, the Google will take over. The Google will be your biggest competitor, not anybody else. All these call center jobs, I can assure you, 10 years from now, they will all vanish. There won't be any more call center jobs, because with artificial intelligence, with machine learning kind of technologies, the computers will take over all those routine kind of jobs. Unless you become creative, unless you start to get into new ideas, get into new areas, you will never be able to keep pace with the computers, and that situation, you should never get into in your life. Therefore, becoming a lifelong student is going to be very, very important for that. Also, the second thing which I should do is give your 100% to whatever you do. I also started my career like you, but whatever job I took up, I gave my 100%. I can go back to any job that I worked before, because I always maintained good relations, and everybody where I worked, they all wanted me to come back and work at that place. That is what you should do. I see many people, even in the IIT system, they burn bridges very often. You go and work somewhere, even without informing the employer, without doing anything, you switch your jobs, and the employer doesn't even know whether this guy is going to come back tomorrow or not. That kind of an attitude, that kind of an approach, I can tell you is not going to work, because world is a very small place, and you will eventually suffer, if you maintain those sort of things. Maintain good relations wherever you work, however small the company may be, however small your work may be, give your 100%. Because that is something that everybody will appreciate. That is something that will help you, provide ladders for your next job, and that is how you prosper in life. We all started in a small way, and we have all come up to this level in life simply because that is what we did. Whatever job it may be, however small it may be, we gave our 100% to that. The third thing that I would like to tell you is build a character. I think SIT with the Swamiji and the kind of atmosphere that you have in this campus, I think that is something you should pursue lifelong. Never compromise on your principles and never lower your bar when it comes to honesty and uprightness. And this country requires honest people in almost every walk of life, whether it is politicians or educationists or industry or whatever businesses you do. The honesty is something that is missing in our society, and you need to be the role models coming from SIT. You need to set different standards when it comes to the honesty. Now, before I conclude, I just want to tell you, one thing which Abdul Kalam used to say very often. I understand Shri Abdul Kalam, our Honorable ex-President, was here a couple of times, and what he said was very important. Dreams are not those which you see while sleeping. They are something that do not let you sleep. I think these are the kinds of dreams that you need to sleep and that you need to have. And may all of you have dreams that keep you awake, so you can experience the wonders that life has in store for you. I am sure most of you will do very well. Most of you will contribute to the society. Some of you should also become teachers. Some of you should become professors at some stage. We need good people in the teaching profession, professors who can produce students who are better than them. I think the job of every professor is to produce a student who is better than him or her. I think unless we do that, the entire thing will be a decaying function, and this whole quest for knowledge will end if every professor produces students who are inferior to that person. I think, I hope some of you will become the teachers of the future generation. You will produce students who are better than you, so that India will take pride in our achievements, and SIT will be proud of you, one day. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best and everything that life can offer you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the inspiring talk, sir. Now I request the respected chairman, Dr. K. Siddhappa, to invite His Holiness Sri Siddhalinga Swamiji for his benediction.
Reverend Swamiji, I humbly request you, Your Holiness, to kindly deliver the benediction address and bless the new graduates and all of us.
Guru Radhiranadishcha, Guroho Paramadaivatam, Guroh Prataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Remembering the holy feet of His Holiness Dr. Shri Shivakumara Swamiji, Chief guest of this occasion, Professor V. Ramgopal Rao, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, our Governing Council Chairman, Dr. Siddhappa, our Honorable Secretary, Shri D.K. Nanjudappa, our Honorable Director, SIT, Dr. Channabasappa, our Management Committee members, Principal, Heads of the Departments, Faculty, Non-Teaching Staff, and my dear graduating students and their respected parents, all invitees. I am delighted to participate in the 9th graduation day ceremony of Siddhaganga Institute of Technology under the autonomous system. I am very happy to congratulate all the graduating students on your achievement to become competent engineers in their chosen fields of specialization. Today is a day of joy for you and for your parents and others who are responsible for your graduation. Many parents have sacrificed their pleasure and comfort for your success. Please remember that you owe gratitude to them and also to your teachers for your success. Of course, you have worked hard to achieve what you have achieved today. Hence, it is a day for celebrations. I am also very happy to learn that out of the 876 BE students who are graduating today, 701 graduates have already got job placements through the campus recruitment process. Appreciations is also due to the faculty and staff for their efforts in enabling the students to be successful in the campus selection process. My dear students, all these 4 years in SIT, you had the advantage of having guidance and support from your parents and teachers. Hereafter, you have the responsibility of managing your life and profession all by yourselves. Here are some few suggestions. Engineers are supposed to be problem solvers and innovators. This requires continuous learning, particularly in the context of fast-growing technology. Also, whether you are working for some company or self-employed, you have to necessarily be a leader of a group that you would be working with. This calls for a sound knowledge on your part in order to win the confidence of your colleagues. We are not able to create all our life's necessities all by ourselves. We are deriving directly or indirectly a lot many benefits from the society. It is therefore important that we pay back to the society even if partially. We can set apart a convenient part of our income for helping persons who are in need for support. In this connection, let us remember the advice of our former Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Ji, who gave to a group of collectors who met him. Be modest and lead decent but simple life, eschewing conspicuous consumption and extravagant living. If you are employed, you work with commitment to your profession as if you are the owner of the establishment you work for, without compromising on your honesty and integrity. Develop a work culture which results in pleasing your superiors, respecting your colleagues, and helping people who may come to you seeking your help. The demands of corporate culture, of which you will soon be a part, are that you deliver results on time. Therefore, manage your time efficiently so that you will be left with some quality time for your family. We being the largest democracy in the world, we have to meaningfully take part in the democratic process. As responsible citizens, our support should be with the wisest and the best without considering the candidate's religion and caste. Please remember that you are the inheritors of the great Indian culture and wisdom. The core value of Indian culture is spirituality. Spirituality does not mean moving away from worldly responsibilities. It advocates active life based on universal brotherhood and compassion for all. Develop scientific temper and reject superstitions and religious dogmas. Have faith in God who manifests himself through his innumerable bounties to mankind. My dear graduating students, whatever you do and wherever you are, please remember that you are ambassadors of SIT. An SITian should be known not only as a person with high technical competence, but also as one with sterling character. May I join all your teachers, parents, and well-wishers present here to wish you all success in your future career. Please keep in touch with your institute. We rejoice hearing about your progress. God be with you. Thank you one and all.
The respected chairman, Dr. K. Siddhappa, is requested to officially declare the ceremony dissolved.
I declare this graduation ceremony dissolved.
All are requested to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जगति तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
May I request all of you to kindly be seated. All of you to kindly be seated. Please don't leave the venue now. I request all of you to kindly be seated. I request the graduating students, parents and others to kindly continue being seated. Award winners and medal winners to kindly occupy your seats in the same venue. I request the students to go back to your departments, collect your provisional certificates and come back. The lunch will be served in the same venue after 15 minutes. The graduation day procession will start now. I request all of you to kindly rise and remain standing till the procession completely moves out of the venue. I request all of you to kindly stand and remain silently till the procession completely leaves the venue.
Swami.